Hello there, welcome back. This is a What the Hell Is This? And this is Dario Argento's Dracula, which is an unfortunate one to have to do, because I'm a massive Dario Argento fan. I was a big fan from the 70s stuff, the 80s stuff, even bits of the 90s stuff. But this is like one of those things where it's like, is this director working because he wants to work, or is it a financial need to work? Because it's like, there's lots of times in this film it's like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on in your brain? But it doesn't mean it's a bad film, but it's an interestingly bad film. It's one of those films that there's often weird details that only Dario Argento would think of as sane, but it's also got elements of, it's like, why wasn't this shot right? Why was this not rendered properly? What is going on here? There's certain things that are like, why did you think this was acceptable, or was the film taken away before it was finished? There's elements of that in the film that are kind of baffling. And there's also a sense of Argento doesn't get Dracula in certain ways. He doesn't get vampires. The vampires are about, if you're doing a European vampire film, do that, but you can't do a Dracula and not get the idea of, it's about repression. It's really about repression, and Argento doesn't do repression very well unless it's the person's repressed and becomes a murderer or something. This one, he's very keen on getting people naked in this film because it's about sex, but Dracula is about like they hold him back until the sex finally emerges eventually in the film. It's not like in the first scene you have a nude sex scene. Takes away from the sense of like anticipation, and it's just this sense of, you see Argento getting very frustrated by the Dracula story at certain points, and other times he's interested, but it's like it's a real mismatch between a director and a subject that should never have been put together. It's like there's just a basic lack of understanding of what the important dynamics are of the story. So this film feels low budget because some of the effects don't feel done. Some of the effects feel like basically the basic render's been done for it, for the basic design's been done, but they don't have the money to fill in all the details to make it look realistic on the big screen. There were plenty of animals in this film that look cheap, and it's like, wow, what is going on? There's also design things like Dracula turns into lots of animals beyond wolves and vampires. He turns into insects. He turns into elves. Like, that's funny. And it's weird. And if you made it weird, put it in a weird context, rather than a horror context when an owl's killing somebody or a giant insect's killing somebody, that's just funny. It's not, you cannot not make that funny. If you'd seen Dracula in the castle turn into these different creatures for certain reasons, it could have been interesting. Oh, that's a new different take in Dracula. Instead, it's just there for horror stuff, and it's just funny. And it's also, it doesn't really tie to the Dracula establishing. It's like, why would he turn into this? Dracula in this film is a villain. Why would he turn into these creatures that are easily attacked? It's just weird. It's like, again, there's this mismatch of Argento wanting certain things in the film, but they don't really make sense in the context of the film he's making. That's just one problem. Again, the other problem is repression. He doesn't understand repression. He has actors who don't understand repression. The only person who seems to get it is Thomas Kretschmer, who plays Dracula. He gives a very pained performance, the sense of a guy who's intelligent and sadistic, and he shows signs of emotion, but cruel emotion. It's like he seems to understand the part, while the rest of the film doesn't, and it's like he's almost like waiting for a better film to come along. Because whenever you come on him when he's not doing a vampire thing, it tends to be fairly decent because he knows what he's doing. But the rest of the cast, the guy playing Jonathan Harker's character was miscast a lot, but the guy that got here was just really bad. or he's directed really bad. The Dario Argento shows up as Lucy, and she has way too many nude scenes in this film, especially since her father directed it, and it makes you feel very weird watching it, knowing that. It's also, she doesn't really work as Lucy. She's almost too, like, sexual from the start before you even know she's been infected, and it just doesn't work. The actress playing Mina is fine. She's not the best one, she's not the worst one. It's one of those ones that's like, it's appropriately cast, but you don't really give her much to do. And she goes from being someone trying to kill the vampire to someone who's been seduced by them and wants to kill them again, back and forth. Like there's no real character, it's just whatever the scene needs at the time. And it becomes this thing of, I can't really invest in you because you're not a real character, you're just a person spouting lines for whatever the plot needs. And I'm not really getting much. Again, it's not the actress's fault, it's the fact that the part she's got just swings back and forth and there's not enough there for her. Rutger Hauer shows up as Van Helsing. He's fine, he's a professional. Probably not his preferred part to play. He's also played Dracula in the past. And Kreshner, who plays Dracula here, would play Van Helsing in another production of Dracula. To be honest, I liked Rutger Hauer's Dracula film more than I liked this. Even though that film was very flawed. But at least it knew it was very flawed and did that weird thing. This one is just like weird. There's things I like about it. There's certain shots where the camera's going through the forest where you can see signs of the old Argento. But there's other signs where the camera's going through like CGI landscapes that look just so fake, and it's like, why did you not just cut this out? You don't need it for storytelling, and you don't need it for anything. It's just a fake thing that takes out the film. And it's just a sense of everything's bitty in the plot. It's like there's no momentum to the story. It's like Argento's taking the bits he likes in the story and he's put them together, and I'll do these scenes, but there's the plot just starts and stops all the time, and it's like you don't get a sense of you're leading to anything. You just have a sense of this is another scene. I liked that scene, I hated that scene, that kind of thing. It's like, it's just like this melange of plot lines that don't cohere, and it's basically it's a writing problem, but it's also when it into production, it's like Argento had to have a lot of scenes of nudity, and it was like, it's just sucking the life out of this film. Which is, I'm fine seeing nudity in films, but not sometimes when you see it, it's like, this is jarring, this is not what you need for this scene. I mean, the one scene where a nude actress is thrown across the room, and you're not thinking, oh, that's impressive. You're thinking, I wonder how that was done and not the actress or the stunt person. And it's a terrible scene as well because it's a Dracula saying, get away from Harker to the bride, and then he sucks the guy's blood. But it's done so awkwardly, and it's like, the weird thing about this one, after Argento had done Suspiria and Inferno, doesn't know how to shoot a vampire attack scene. They're just awkward. Even the best scene, the shots of the vampire attacking, which is when Dracula takes out he's got the whole town under his spell. Basically, they're all scared of him, and he goes into one area when they're basically fed up with him and are talking about Dracula and should we break their deal with him. And Dracula shows up and kills them all. That's the best scene in the film, but it's not that great. It's not really vampire kills. Mainly they're throwing knives at him and he's throwing things back at them. It's more of a physical fight than an actual vampire thing, apart from when he takes someone's head off, and it's like, that's fine, it's fun sequence, but whenever they're doing an actual vampire scene of vampire killing somebody, it's either awkwardly staged or Dracula turns into an insect or an owl, and it's like, what the hell is that? Hence the title of this video, what the hell is this? Basically, it happened every time there's a vampire attack scene in this film. It's like, what are you doing? I mean, you're messing up. The thing that people want to pay to see the film is that you're messing up worse. It's like, this is not rocket science. This is a simple, vampire attacks are one of the simplest things to do in film. And Argento's messing up constantly, and it's like, what is he doing? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of embarrassing if you're a Argento fan. It's like, I'm very forgiving of some of his 90s films, like Phantom of the Opera and things like that. I'm very forgiving of them. They've got flaws, but I'm very forgiving of them. But this one is like, it's entertaining, but not always in the right way. But it's also just very frustrating because it's like there's so little drive, and you get the feeling a lot of actors were directed to either overact or underact, and there's no like consistency in the acting. It just seems like different people in different scenes, and they're not interacting in a way that's compulsive to any drama. They're just there. And I mean, Argento's never been good with actors, but here they're just left to flail around. Do what you want, fine. So you've some actors being pros and doing a good job, and there's other actors who just look lost. And as someone who loves Dracula films and vampire films, I still got a lot of joy out of this. I still had a lot of fun with this film, even how wayward it went, because sometimes seeing how not to do it is just as much fun as seeing someone do it. But it is not a film you can recommend to anyone without saying, like, this is a weird film, this is not technically a good film, but it's kind of enjoyable in its strangeness. It's not something you forget after you've seen it, but it is. It's just like, why did you make this film? Like, what was going on in your head at the time? Like, again, did you need the money? There's that feeling in that film of, what the hell's going on with him? Why is he doing this? So, yeah, that's Dario Argento's Dracula. Definitely one of the weirdest films he's made. It's, but I still watch over one or two of his other films from the 2000s that are not great. I mean, Argento just kind of seemed to have burned out. I think I think Argento did what he wanted to do, and now he's making films for the habit of it rather than he's any real drive anymore. Because I think he did what he was interested in, and it's that thing of sometimes you burn out because you've done the thing that was driving you, and that's it. And I think Argento's in that thing now where he's just doing films that there's some interesting things for him in it, but have fun with it, but it may not be fun for the audience. So, yeah, that's Argento's Dracula. I hope you enjoyed this, and good luck if you decide to watch it. Right, that's me for now. Bye.